Hello, and welcome back to the Talk Nats podcast. I am your host, Kevin Nibley, and we are sponsored by Old DC Apparel. Head on over to shopolddc.com. You can get the latest and greatest in original DC fan gear. They have some new baseball stuff up for the spring, as well as a couple of Beer Snake shirts, if that's something you're into. Use the code TalkNatsPod at checkout for 10% off your order. As always, you can find us on YouTube at TalkNats Podcast. That's also our handle on X. And you can find the audio-only version of this show on any major podcast platform. All right, last week we were joined by legendary high school baseball coach Todd Fitz-Gerald. We will have part 2 of that interview on tap for you in just a moment, but now it's time for the week in review. All right, it's the week in review where we break down the W's and the WTFs from the past week of Nationals baseball. First off, the W's. I'm going to start with the 5-2 road trip. I mean, unbelievable. A sweep in Milwaukee, scoring a lot of runs. The bullpen holding up. Last week, the bullpen was a WTF for us. This week, it was solid enough. It got us through Milwaukee, and it got us a split in Pittsburgh. Clayton Beater wasn't amazing in that final game, but Rebalta came in, did a great job. A really good split in Pittsburgh, a dramatic split against a tough team. 5-2 road trip for this young club. Huge W. I'm really proud of the way they're playing. Next W, going to have to go with CJ Abrams. He had a fantastic week. He is starting to look not only like an all-star, but potentially a fringe MVP candidate. Top 5, top 10 maybe, if he keeps playing the way he's playing. The question will then become, what do the Nats do with that? Do they extend him? Do they try to build around this young superstar? Or do they flip him at the deadline? I don't know. But one thing I do know is he's been really fun to watch, and he's looking like a superstar and doing about everything you'd want to see. So CJ Abrams, W for this week. And the final W, I'm going to say the kids in the minor leagues. Our guest, Todd Fitz-Gerald, his son Devin has had a couple of homers. Elijah Green's heating up. Harry Ford's doing a little bit better. Dylan Cruz is heating up, looking like he's going to be back in the majors soon. Eli Willits had an inside the Parker. Sir Jamison Jones is killing the ball. Pretty much throw a dart at a Nats minor league prospect, and they had a good week. So I'm going to take the minor leagues as a W for this week. All right, WTFs. Not too many of them. I mean, this is about as good of a week as we've had in Nats baseball in a while. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to WTF Miles Michaelis. He was on the list last week. He's staying on the list. I thank him. I don't have to update the graphic for the video version. This saves me some work, just keeping Miles on here. Rough start in Pittsburgh. They tried him sandwiched between an opener and then Mitchell Parker coming in long relief. Still a rough start. They gave him a 5-run lead, I believe, and he gave that back pretty fast. You have to ask yourself, can this guy stay in the plans? Again, innings eating is great, but if the innings you're eating, you're giving the other team several runs, not sure how valuable that is. So Miles Michaelis, WTF. Next WTF, the ABS challenges. We didn't do so well with them. It seems like we might want to adjust our strategy. I feel like our hitters aren't challenging enough. We're taking some questionable strike calls, and it seems like our catchers are challenging too often, and they're wrong. And certainly doing so in questionable leverage spots. I don't feel like we've used these challenges on the ABS system at the best possible moments. We're doing it with guys not on base. We're, doing it on the first pitch of an at bat, things like that. And we're wrong and blowing the challenges. I think Buter's done an amazing job so far with this team. I really do. But I think tweaking the strategy behind our ABS challenges is something we should look at. So it's going to be a WTF for this week. And my final WTF for the week, I'm going to give it to the Wall Street Journal. What a rag, huh? They had a headline saying that the Nats have been one of the saddest teams in the majors. And, hit piece about how they hired all these millennials to run them. And while it's true, this rebuild hasn't gone quite as quickly as we all would have hoped. I mean, the Nats have won a World Series 10 years more recently than the New York Yankees, 33 years more recently than the New York Mets. And, for the 7-year period before they started their rebuild from 2012 to 2019, Nats had second best record in all of Major League Baseball, only behind the Dodgers. I mean, they were a great program. Several individual awards, Cy Youngs from Max Scherzer, MVP from Bryce Harper. I think the Wall Street Journal classified the Nationals as a pathetic franchise is a little ridiculous. So they're going to get a WTF from me. So, all right, that was the week in review. And without any further ado, here's the second part of our interview with Coach Todd Fitz-Gerald. I was asking him about his current player, Gio Rojas, who several experts have going to the Nationals in their latest mock drafts. So here is Coach Todd Fitz-Gerald on Gio Rojas. You had mentioned earlier one of your current stars, Gio Rojas, a left-handed pitcher. He's actually been mocked to the Nationals.
I saw that.
Yeah, Baseball America, I believe.
I love it.
What can so for people listening to the show probably aren't familiar with high school prospects. What can you tell us about Gio Rojas?
So just he's unique, man. He's a freak. The kid is always smiling. He loves the game of baseball. He actually is my 4-hole hitter also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, just uber competitive, fastball 95 to 99. He'll pitch at 93 to 95. Wipeout slider, great feel for the changeup. Strike thrower. Has lost one game in his high school career. That was this year. We didn't help him very much defensively. But yeah, just fun to be around. Super guy, checks all the boxes on and off the field. If you love baseball and you love talking baseball and you love the game, then he's a guy you want to be around. He brings life to the team, a lot of energy and really positive.
Cool. Now, so you've been at this a while, and kids have obviously kind of changed over the years with the cell phones and social media and all that. Have you had to change your approach to coaching over the last, 10, 15 years to kind of adapt with the kids, or have you just been the same the whole time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to evolve with kids. And again, I've been fortunate enough to have 2 kids that are relatively young, right? But I've seen them grow through high school and see how they've adapted and how things have changed. Just Hunter and Devin are 5 years apart. So yeah, we have a rule now when they come in the locker room that we have a lockbox now for cell phones. So they have to put their cell phones in a lockbox because a lot of kids will go in there and they want to check their phone during practice. Well, practice is my time.
Yeah.
So you put your phone away and you can live without your phone for 2.5 hours. So, but yeah, we have a lot game day, same thing. They put it in the lockbox. They can't have it until after the game. Can't check it during the game. So, I think those are things, just trying to keep them focused, man. Like that's the main thing. Kids nowadays, they got so much going on. Like it's hard to keep them focused. It's not like when I was growing up or, we didn't have cell phones, we found a way. We went out and played wiffle ball. We were always out doing something. Now with the phones, man, these guys just either they're on the phones or they're playing Call of Duty now. And that's one of the things. So, but yeah. So yeah, but I've changed. I think I've been better with building relationships with my players than I was in the past. So I want my players to know that we care about them. I really wasn't really good at expressing that early on as a young coach, and I think I do a better job of that now. And just just because I think that's the right thing to do. And I'm staying in touch with guys. Rylan Luho at Georgia's playing, Matt
Mhm.
Osenfort's at Michigan. I got guys all over, and I text them all the time, just check on them, see how they're doing. So it means a lot to them, and it means a lot to me when I come back when the playoffs come around, and they're at our games or they're in our dugout during the game during the playoff
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
So it just shows the culture of the program.
That's great. You mentioned practice, and that's your time. A lot of some of our listeners I know are baseball dads, and they have kids who are, kind of coming up and all that. Break down for them what's one of your practices look like. What do you really like to stress and the preparation?
Well, when I say this, people really don't believe me, but we do the same thing every day at
Mhm.
practice. Every single day, we do the same thing. Baseball is about repetition. Um, and it's about kids are visual learners these days, so every day
Yeah.
we do the same thing. We stretch, we base run, we do double cuts and relays, we do bunt defense, we do rundowns, we do first and thirds, we do pop-up priorities, then we do position fundamentals, and then we do batting practice. So it's about a 2.5 hour practice. Pitchers get their work in with their pitching coach. I'm lucky enough to have a coach for each position. So I
Hmm.
have a catching guy, I have a pitching coach, I have an infield guy, I have an outfield guy, and I can just go around and make sure that they're doing the things that I want them to do in practice. And from the hitting standpoint, I do the hitting with two other of my coaches. We have a cage coach, and then we have an on-field BP guy, and I'll stand by the around the cage and just work with guys' swings. But yeah, man, it's really good. Just the way we do things, and there's no downtime in our practice. If you've come to
Hmm.
one of our practices, you'd see like it's from the time they're there, they're hitting the ground running, and when they're done, they're tired. And if they're not tired, they didn't work hard that day. I'm not a big run guy. I don't condition other than the pitchers. I don't make them run sprints. We get our base running in. We get our base running in BP as well. So they do actually do a double time of base running every day. But yeah, we try and hit the points that every little point that we think that can happen or occur in a game. We try and hit on it. And if we make an error, make a mistake from it, that's fine. If we're in the right position, we're in the right position. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to strike out, you're going to fail, but how you deal with that is going to determine the makeup of you as a player.
Great. Yeah. Now, so
My
what's
other
what?
message, hang on, my other message
Yep.
to the dads out there that are coaching their kids, okay, don't be like me because I was really hard on Hunter, and I'm glad he's still playing the game and loves the game. But just tell your kid every day that it was just no matter what he does, no matter how good or how bad, you just enjoyed watching him play, and you want to make sure that they love it, have fun, and want to keep doing it. Because the more you beat them up over it, the more you harp on them about it, they're going to tune you out and they're going to end up hating it. So just make sure
Mhm.
that they continue to love it, stress the fact that that you're playing a kid's game, and that's the way you should always approach it.
That's great advice. So over your career, I guess what's been more satisfying to you, winning the titles or kind of watching these kids grow up and evolve and become men?
Well, number one, winning never gets old, right? So let's go ahead and say that. But yeah, just watching them grow. I mean, I'm a teacher too, so I'm in the
Hmm.
building. Just watching them grow from freshman to senior year, physically, mentally, emotionally. That's the other thing nowadays with the emotional, well-being of kids and the mental health stuff going on. But
Yeah.
yeah, just watching them grow and develop and mature, and being able to understand that, you know, your parents can tell you it's okay, but I'm going to tell you it's not okay, right? We want to be the best at everything that we do every
Hmm.
single, and you got to, if you take a play off, or if you take an at bat off that doesn't help the team be successful, then you've cheated yourself and you've cheated the program. So those are things that we've tried to really instill in our kids, is just play 100%, leave it all on the field, win or lose, give me your best effort night in and night out, and we can live with the result.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it is a game, right? You're going to
Yeah.
win, you're going to lose, and sometimes losing teaches you the best life lessons of all. You know, and being humbled. So when that other team's dogpiling on your field because they beat you, which has happened to us 5 times this year. So with teams who haven't beat us before. And
Hmm.
listen, I want them to sit there and watch it because it doesn't feel good, and I want them to understand that if you don't want that to happen again, we need to do something about it. We need to fix it. So, um, you know,
Yeah, no, definitely. You mentioned mental health in that answer. I think I read in my research that's something you've evolved on that a little bit, or you're concerned about that's become a priority for you as a coach.
yeah, I mean, February 14th, 2018, I was part of one of the largest school shootings in U.S. history, right?
Wow.
At our
Okay.
at,
Yeah.
at our school. So we lost
Mm.
17 people that day, and I was, I had a kid with me that was shot, and yeah, man, it's there are far greater things in this world than a high school baseball game going on, and you
Yeah.
just want to make sure that the kids are in the right place and they're in the right frame of mind. They might have had a bad day at school, might have broke up with their girlfriend, mom and dad might be fighting. I don't know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
just letting them know that, hey, man, I just make sure you're okay and everything good, and just walk around the field during practice and talk to guys one on one and see where their heads at, and just let them know that we're here for them. When they go to prom, we always tell them, like, dude, don't get in a car with somebody that's been drinking. Be smart.
Yeah.
You want to call me at 1 o'clock in the morning, we'll come get you. Like, no questions asked. We just want you home safe. So, just trying to make good decisions, and bringing guys in that maybe a veteran or a former player who got in trouble with the law, or the police
Hmm.
officers, just to educate our kids on, right and wrong. I know they know right from wrong, but just to understand, especially with social media, that can ruin your whole career. Just one simple
Yeah.
post that
Hmm.
can ruin a scholarship for you if you put the wrong thing out there. So just try and educate them daily on that, and just make them the best young men they can be.
Great. Yeah. Now I guess sticking on kind of existential questions. What's the best lesson baseball has taught you about life, if any?
The best lesson, just, well, I'm competitive as
Mhm.
heck, right? I mean,
Yeah.
in everything that I do, but it's really taught me that the wins and the losses don't really equate to seeing the smile and the satisfaction on kids' faces when they do something exceptional, whether
Mhm.
it's winning a state title or hitting a home run to win a game for you, or that, and it prepares you for the rest of your life, because baseball is a game of failure.
Yeah.
It's the only sport in the world that you can fail 70% of the time. Now it's probably closer to 73% of the time, and be a Hall of Famer, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You can't fail 73% of the time in anything else in life and be considered a success. So for me, that, I mean, just being able to understand and learn from your mistakes as a coach as well, and be able to self-evaluate and hold yourself accountable. So many times I hear coaches blame kids for losses. Well,
Hmm.
it's not. We're 28 strong, like, plus 8 coaches, so there's 36 of us that we're all accountable. So we win together and lose together. I might not be happy with the way you played, and that's my fault, but we're going to fix it in practice. So just being able to learn and hold yourself accountable, and get up the next day and the sun comes out, and not harp on yesterday.
Yeah.
They always say, what is it? Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. So let's just play for today, and let's just live for today. So that's what we try and go by.
That's a great outlook. We're getting close to out of time, but I did want to ask you, are you happy staying as a high school coach, or do you ever have any aspirations of moving to pro or college ball?
I would definitely love to get on the pro side of it.
Hmm.
I've had some conversation, so that would probably be my next move if the situation arises and the right fit arises. But yeah, absolutely, I'd love to get on the pro side of it. I've done all I can do in high school, honestly, and not just to pat. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I've won titles. I've won national
Hmm.
titles. I've been undefeated. I've had players drafted. Like, I've done everything that a high school coach can do. And yeah, so, but I love high school baseball because I love being around kids. But I would also, I think, I have a good mind for the game.
Mhm.
And I think from a managerial standpoint, I think I do a pretty good job of managing a game. And I love teaching. So, yeah, if the situation arises, it's definitely something I would entertain for sure, and would love to, maybe be that next chapter moving forward.
Cool, cool. Now we're about out of time, but please let our listeners know how we could follow you or your program on social media and keep up with you.
Yeah, I should say I think because I'm still learning. I just got Instagram, so I think
Okay.
it's at Coach Fitz or something like that. You can always DM Dev Fitz on his Instagram and ask him what mine is because I have no idea. And then on Twitter as well. You can follow at SD Eagle Baseball. That's our high school account, and then at Coach Fitz on Twitter too. So yeah, I would love to. And listen, I want to continue to grow the game.
Mhm.
And if anybody ever has any questions or wants to reach out, or feel free, DM me on Twitter or whatever. I love talking baseball and anything I can do to help anybody that wants to get better and wants to learn. I'll sit there and talk with them. I clinic all the time. I go to the ABCA National Convention. We do the Global Baseball Coaches Network every Monday night. So we do a lot of things, and we're always trying to grow the game of baseball. It's the greatest game there is. So.
No, awesome. Well, Coach, thanks a lot for taking the time to be with us today, and talk soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Kev. Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, so that was our episode. Many thanks again to Coach. Some really good life stuff in there. I wasn't expecting the conversation to get so serious, but yeah, some really wild stuff he's been through down there in Florida with the school shooting and all of that. And, he came out with a really great perspective, and we really appreciated hearing that. So yeah, that's it for us this week. As always, please check out talknats.com, shopoldbc.com. They bring the show to you every week. Without them, we would not have this program, so please support them. Amazing week of Nats baseball, really one of the best ones we've had in quite some time, definitely during this extended rebuild. Looking forward to a really great homestand, hopefully against the Giants and the Braves. And until next Friday, go Nats.